post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. There I said. But what if that's not the problem? What would your life look like if PTSD wasn't a problem for you? If it wasn't this label that was restricting or choking you from living your best life? What if you were able to see the true essence of PTSD and how it was actually designed in a way to protect you? Would that be beneficial for you? Well, that's what I'm talking about in this video. I really want to go through my definition of PTSD and what I see around it. And I only speak from my lived experience. So this won't be much of a book or a psychology lesson, as it will be someone who's just walked through the healing journey through their post-traumatic stress disorder. My first 4 years of the military were horrible. Like, I got in so much trouble, like LORs, UIFs, well, LORs, letters of reprimands, Article 15s, which was non-judicial punishment, where they would take your stripe and take certain money out of your check per month to punish you, for being bad. I had, what is it called? A UIF, unfavorable information file. And it's this file that is kind of like this red thing that goes in your file that anytime you're looked at for an award, a promotion, anything, the first thing they see is that red marker that said, this person is a troublemaker, don't even think about it. But those were the first 4 years, pretty much, actually almost about first 5 or 6 years of my military career. But there is one thing I had never noticed about that time and never put together. The behaviors that were deemed troublemaking in the military when I first arrived, the way of life, my mindset, the way I move was actually the environment I came from. So see, I grew up an inner city kid, so there was violence around me, there was gangs around me, drugs, things like that. So the hardened shell, the anger, the fight, the violence, all of that was what kind of helped me make it through high school in a sense. So the post-traumatic stress disorder, for me, what I find that to mean is after a traumatic experience has occurred, meaning someone has experienced danger where they are about to lose their life, physical danger. So that's why most of the times it gets attributed to those in harm's way, such as military, policemen, firefighters, nurses, and things like that. But it's not only those group of people who can suffer from PTSD. So I want to make that clear just from the very beginning. All right. But it often gets aligned with those for that very reason. They're close to the danger of losing their life, which is a traumatic experience. And I don't spend time, me personally, trying to qualify or quantify for folks what's a real traumatic experience and what's not. Here's what I know. Just because the narrative that provided my trauma was bombs exploding over my head or gunshots around me, doesn't mean that the same feeling that I had of despair and death and thinking it was over isn't the same feeling that someone would have in a hostile work environment where they feel like, they're going to get fired and not be able to provide for their family. So the feeling that an employee would have in that kind of hostile workforce could create so much stress and feelings of core security and safety of life being snatched from them that it could become a traumatic experience. And whenever we're in that, at the moment we're in it, the first time, the real time, the actual time, our system kicks in with instinctual behaviors that allows us to make it. What happens and why PTSD happens is because our minds are quick to form patterns, it automatically pulls those behaviors out when that feeling comes about again. The problem is maybe it's not needed there. And so the adverse effects comes about because as my mind will continually tell me I need to be on guard for this experience that we faced before is going to come back, that just wears down the system. And as the system gets worn down, my body gets fatigued, my immune system goes. That's how the adverse effects of PTSD begin to set in. But when we come back a little and we see that, wait, if I can become aware when I'm bringing those behaviors that once protected me, which that's why we trust them, when I can become aware that I'm bringing them back to this and this experience, or bringing them to this experience is a better way of saying it. Yeah, when I'm reaching back in my past to bring them to this experience, if I'm aware, then the possibility is I don't bring them here and I get to respond and get that same instinctual set of behavioral instructions like I did that time to save my life. I could trust that. Memories can't hurt unless we allow them to. They need permission. And again, when we become aware of that, when we become aware that we have to give them permission, it allows us to see PTSD as not this big bad monster, and actually just another way that our system is trying to protect us. It's just the way we're made. It's just how our minds work. And that wasn't it in totality. I'm still seeing things for it myself. That's why I have the programs like Life After Trauma. So I continue to, in my own healing journey. So stick with me on it. Share with me what you think. Let's grow together in this so we can continue to help stop those suffering from this. Because I think it's possible. All right. I really do. So thank you so much again for partnering with me on all the Life After Trauma information. Have the day you deserve.